Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And on today's show, I'm pleased to have on a returning guest, now a pro, wasn't a pro before, but now he is with the New York Mets, and also formerly from Watertown, Connecticut, my former neck of the woods, Justin Guerrera. Justin, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
I should be saying thank you. And first off, I just want to say, I know I told you before, but congratulations on being drafted. And I'm sure we're going to really dive into just how it's been over the course of the last few months for you, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a real pleasure. I mean, it's been a dream ever since, being a kid. I always grow up wanting to play professional baseball, and you don't really understand the level of professional baseball that you think that's actually obtainable for you.
Mhm.
And you always have your doubts, but you always have your dreams at the same time. So you want to obtain those dreams, and sometimes the doubts creep up on you, but you just got to keep those dreams in mind.
Now, the last time we spoke was right when the Stags, your former college, was really kind of reeling. And I remember we were talking about potentially, going to the regional and such. And, before we get into obviously you being drafted, I kind of want to go towards that. And we were speaking about it a little bit. Just talk to me about kind of that second half of the season and then getting to a regional because you not only won one game, but your team won two in the regional.
Yeah, we obviously we started off the season very well. We had a conference only schedule, so I think we were 28-0, I believe was the number. Um, really rolled through the season, had our first conference loss, and then we ended up falling a little bit short in that conference tournament, losing to Ryder in the championship. Um, the committee was gracious enough to gift us with an at-large bid to head to a regional, and we went to the Texas regional, played Arizona State opening night. Um, Fell a little bit short in that first game. Played them really well. They beat us on a walk off in the bottom of the ninth, and then we came back the next day, and we were able to beat Southern. That was our first regional win in program history. Was really excited to be a part of that, and kind of just like push the program in the direction that they're heading right now, and with all the success that we had. Um, we had a rematch next day with Arizona State, ended up pulling through with that game, won that one, was able to go to regional final, play Texas in the regional final, which was a real experience with 8 to 10,000 fans in attendance. It was an unreal experience being able to do that.
When I was broadcasting for the Bristol Blues, when Central was there a couple of times, I remember talking with, Sam Loda, Peyton Stevens, both Connecticut guys. And I was kind of asking them, like, beyond the fact of, oh, how were the games? I mean, that's a dumb question. But I asked, how was the experience? I mean, take me into the energy because it's so much different. Not to say that baseball is different in different parts of the US, but let's be honest. The South, it's like football, baseball, and God. It's those three, and then no
Right.
particular order. But just take me into that. So then I'm going to ask you, what was it like being a part of that? Because you just said 10,000 plus fans. Let's just talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it being in Connecticut playing games, I mean, we had maybe 500 people in attendance at our games on average. And then once we started going on our run and with 20 wins, 21 wins, a lot more people started showing up. We started getting into maybe a couple thousand at our games. And even that was a great experience with the community of Fairfield being able to be there and support us. But then we show up to the regional final and there's 8, 10,000 people there. It's something that a lot of us had never experienced. And I myself, I never experienced it. So it's really just something you have to take in and be proud of. But at the same time, you know that you have a job to do and go out there and try to win a ball game. And obviously, Texas being the powerhouse they are, they really kind of, I don't want to say push us around, but we gave them the best game we could possibly give them with what we had left. And obviously fell a little short, but they were a great team. And it was really a pleasure to play them and go through that whole experience.
Do you feel like your performance in that regional kind of, because I don't know if there were scouts there or not, maybe you could help me with that, but do you feel like that your performance in that regional kind of gave that extra, that little extra credit maybe to kind of help push you to that finish line of at the time potentially being drafted?
Yeah, I mean, I opened up the call with you talking about kind of how you have your doubts of kind of the talent that you actually have as a player, and you don't never truly know like how you stack up against competition. Um, Being able to play in that game against Texas kind of showed that maybe I was good enough to get drafted. It really gave me the confidence. I was like, maybe I can compete with guys from Texas. I can compete with guys from other parts of the country where, they play baseball year round and they really compete their asses off. So it's really a great experience to be able to have that confidence and know for yourself that you can do it.
Now we know obviously, Texas got the better end and the season ended, but what you guys accomplished is amazing. Like you said, steps ahead, years from now, program continues on growing and building blocks there. For yourself personally, the season ended, and I mean, like, you know, were you able to kind of get any sort of time to relax, or was it jumping right into, okay, got to make sure I'm prepared for the draft?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to relax. We That game ended against Texas, and I think the game ended 11 o'clock midnight,
Mhm.
and we got back to the hotel. Pizza got delivered at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. We ate that pizza. They told us we had a flight. We're leaving for the airport at 6 a.m. So I wasn't going back to sleep, just stayed up through the night and got on that flight. And I want to say we got back to Fairfield at about 4 p.m. the next day. So it was a long 2 days. And after that, went home. I think I had 2 days at home before I left for Newport, Rhode Island to go play the NECBL. Um, I wanted to get there as soon as I could because I wanted as much opportunity for scouts to see me if there was anybody that was interested.
Mhm.
Because I knew I had a good year, played really well, had a lot of exposure, especially with the regional. So I just wanted to get in front of scouts as quickly as I could and as frequent as I could.
Now, if I recall, I think last year was the first year that the draft was being held after the season rather than being during
Correct.
the tournament, correct?
Right. Yeah. I think that had to do a lot with COVID. I think that it was hard for scouts to get out during college seasons and kind of see a lot of players that they wanted to. So
Mhm.
they were able to push it back a couple months to kind of see guys during the summer. And I believe going forward now, the draft is going to be halfway through the summer like it was this past year.
Now, I want to kind of go into the draft itself now. So, at the time when the draft was starting, I mean, did you have any inclination where you could potentially go, where you may fall, anything like that?
I really had a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. It was really hard to kind of put a number or place or anything to where I might go. I had a couple agents reach out to me, and to my understanding at the time, they told me a bunch of my former teammates had gotten drafted. They were telling me once you have agents reaching out to you, that's kind of when the process is going to start. Um, Scouts aren't going to reach out to you first. It's going to be agents because agents are going to be talking with scouts and they're going to want to get you with their agency. So I had a couple agents reach out. I ended up choosing Parker Burnell with OAS, who is from Chester, Connecticut. He lives in Los Angeles now. Um, so I ended up going with Parker, and he was talking on my behalf, trying to figure out as much information as he could for me. And I was really a fringe guy for the draft. I really wasn't. It was it was really hard for me to put my name on a specific spot in the draft. So I knew I had to perform well throughout the summer. So it was a battle the whole summer. It was trying to figure out what was going on, who was talking to me, who had the most interest. And really the Mets were the only ones that had reached out to me directly, had me fill out questionnaires, had me submit medical forms. So it was really the Mets the whole way. That was my initial intention.
I could picture as you were talking about the agents talking to you and trying to get the ball rolling in a sense. I can picture that like the stock market where they're picking up a billion phones talking to a bunch of scouts and teams. Like, no, you got to go this way. No, you got to go this way. That's kind of what I'm picturing in my mind.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, the I had a couple scouts reach out to or not a couple scouts, sorry. I had a couple agents reach out to me, and I didn't really know what route I wanted to go, and I had some good guidance with Freddie Vargas and Maya Vargas at Tater. They were helping me out a little bit with that process. And as soon as I met Parker, I just knew that he was the guy I wanted to go with. He was a really stand-up guy, and he was really pushing to help me as much as he could. And last year was actually his first draft. So it was kind of an experience for both of us with it being a unique style of draft. with it being after the college season. And it was really cool to go through it with him. And I'm really excited for the future that we have together and my future in professional baseball.
As each round was passing, I kind of picture it like, I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers didn't have to wait that long to get drafted, albeit he thought he was going number one. Literally, he dropped a little bit more. But just in terms of you, as each round was going, I mean, did you end up like just going outside to, I don't know, maybe swing the bat a couple times just to get some anger out? I mean, did you hit some trees? I mean, just how was it for you? If that's a dumb question, I apologize.
No, no, that's definitely not a dumb question because it was definitely a stressful couple of days. I believe the draft started on a Sunday. Then it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I had gotten my first phone call from a scout on Sunday on day one of the draft, and they had told me, and it was from the Mets. It was John Kozak from the Mets, and he said, "Hey, the Mets really interested in you. I really like everything about you. I am pushing to get you on day two." He was, if it's not day two, it'll be day three. And so I once again talked to a bunch of my former teammates that got drafted, and they said that's how the draft is. It's going to be, they're going to tell you one thing, that time's going to come, you're going to expect to hear your name, and it's not going to happen. Then they're going to tell you something else, that time's going to come, and it's not going to happen. They're like, so just don't get discouraged, let it all play out, and we'll see what happens. So I watched all day one because it was day one of the draft. I wasn't expecting to hear my name, just wanted to see all the high talent that was going. And then day two came. I had talked to my the owner of Newport Goals, Chuck. He said, absolutely stay home. Do not come to these games. He goes, I want you to be able to hear your name called. So I was actually at my host family's house, and they were an awesome host family. They were super supportive the whole time. So I was at my host family's house for day two. My parents drove to Newport with me. They drove up to be with me for the draft. Day two came and went. Nothing happened. I was like, okay, no big deal. Day three came, went through pick 15, 16, 17. And I kind of had my eye on the Mets the whole time because I knew that they were really the only ones that reached out. Every time I saw the Mets on the board, I just hoped and prayed. Name didn't get called. 19th round came, nothing. And my teammate Trey also went, I believe in the 16th or 17th round. So I was happy for him. The group chat for Fairfield was blowing up. 20th round came, and they're going through the Mets. Mets were up in 3 picks. I got a text on my phone from Mike Caruso, our catcher at Fairfield, saying, congratulations, you deserve it. This is awesome. And I was like, and I looked at my phone, I just put it down, and I just stared at the TV on the live stream, watching the live stream. And I had my girlfriend next to me. She was watching the Twitter tracker, and my parents were off to the side watching the TV with me. And I was just like, oh my God, it happened. And I was just looking, my dad looked at me and he gave me a weird look. And I was just like, just watch. Everybody looked at the TV, heard my name called, and it was awesome. It was just a really cool experience.
I would pay to see your dad's face. Just in a live shot. Like, when you take a picture on your phone, it's like the live pictures. Just see your dad's face go from like complete shock, and then every picture goes from happy to just full blown gonna blow up in excitement.
Yeah, it was my phone. I don't think I've gotten so many messages at one time on my phone, and all those messages came before I even knew I got drafted, because I think my live stream was 30 seconds behind.
Oof.
So it was really, I like the way it happened. I think it was really cool because like it kind of gave me time to digest it before actually hearing my name. But it was really cool that Mike Caruso, who ended up being one of my best friends at Fairfield, he was the one that actually unknowingly broke the news to me.
So he's the Jeff Passan of college baseball breaking news. How about that?
Absolutely. That's what he was to me.
That's awesome. But see, that's the kind of stories that you'll never forget. Like, you'll take that for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome, buddy. So how much time did you have from the time that you got the call, got drafted and such? I mean, did you was it kind of like in college baseball, once the season was over, you got 3 hours, then you're hopping on a plane, don't sleep, here's your pizza? How was it for that?
Yeah, like I said, I got drafted on a Tuesday. I got a phone call from from John Koziak, the scout, and he said, "Hey, congratulations, we just drafted you in the 20th round. I'll get back to you with some information." And at that time, like I said, I was still in shock, still kind of crazy. Um, but things were going through, and they sent me my offer with the signing bonus and the money to pay for my school. I said absolutely, that works perfect. Got it, absolutely love it. And they said, all right, we'll write up the contract, we'll send it over, just sign it, and we'll get you on a plane on Thursday. And
Wow.
I had a day to go home, repack all my stuff. Thursday, I was on a plane heading to Florida.
So I'm sure over the course of the day you learned how to make sure you packed your clothes right.
Oh yeah, I had my parents there and my girlfriend there too, so they were able to help me out a little bit while I was still answering my phone that was continuously blowing up.
Yeah, I could imagine your phone must have been like a traffic light that's broken, just constantly
Oh yeah,
blink, blink,
yeah.
blink.
Between Twitter, between Instagram, between all my messages and the Fairfield baseball group chat, it was and plus the Newport goals group chat, it was
Mhm,
because we had a couple guys in the goals also go. I think it was me, Jack Aldrich, and I believe one other player. I can't think of who it was,
mhm.
but I think there was three of us that ended up going, and so it was really cool. We had a good team in Newport, and I was happy with that. Everything that worked out in Newport, great people up there, great host family, great teammates, and great ownership as well.
That's awesome, buddy. So you finally get the opportunity to be able to, you begin your pro career, and you said you started out in the complex, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I started in the Florida Complex League.
So kind of just take me into that a little bit, because even granted, obviously it's not you're jumping right into games, but that's kind of like now it's like, okay, I'm here. I've arrived.
Yeah, so we got down there. We had a couple days off just to kind of relax, and we had to do some physicals and make sure that things were all good with paperwork and everything. So we had about 3 days to kind of do nothing. Got to the complex. We had a 2 week camp where they kind of introduced us to everything and got some work in because there was a lot of guys that got drafted that weren't playing summer ball because they just knew they were getting drafted. Because I was a fringe guy, I knew I had to play summer ball. So I
Mhm.
was still in mid-season form, but a lot of these guys kind of had to get built up into getting ready to play 3 months of baseball. So we had that 2 week camp. Once that 2 week camp ended, about half the guys, half of the position players started in low A with St. Lucie, and then half of us stayed at the complex level. And I believe almost every pitcher stayed at the complex level just because a lot of them weren't throwing and they weren't expecting them to throw yet. Um, so I started playing games at the complex level, and being able to play in that Austin Regional Tech in Texas
Mhm.
kind of prepared me for that complex league because there was a lot of guys that threw hard but just didn't have a big secondary pitch. So it was pretty much a lot of wild guys trying to find the zone. But when they did find the zone, it was pretty much grooved. And so I ended up having some success there. Batted about 400, 420. Um, was there for about a month, and then I got called up to low A at St. Lucie Mets. Played another month and a half there, and then season ended. I got invited to the instructional um, league that they had at the Mets complex. Had another month down or another 2 weeks there, kind of just getting to know all the staff, all the personnel,
Mhm.
really like learning about myself and like the future that the Mets want me to have and future player they want me to be. Went home for the off season and came back down for spring training.
Now, during that time, was there any conversations that you had either with a coach, a former or current player who's a coach, anything like that, et cetera, or player, like I said, who kind of maybe helped you along as far as your first season with the Mets in their minor league system thus far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice to be down here with Trey McLaughlin. I mean, he's coming down here with teammate
Mhm.
is really settling. It kind of settles you a little bit. Your nerves aren't so high, so you know somebody down here. Especially when we first got down here, we ended up being roommates
Mhm.
for the 3 month season. So it was nice to kind of have some comfort of people I know, people from home, and We had guys like Austin Pope and Jack Gethings, kind of former players and current player in professional baseball, kind of guiding us along a little bit too. So kind of telling us what to expect. So it was really nice to come down here with Trey and
Mhm.
kind of start off our professional careers together.
Now, when you were able to start playing games your first season, I mean, in conversations I've had with various people, I talk about the speed of the game. Every level you move up, the speed gets quicker as far as the pace, the speed, etc. For you,
Right.
did you feel like that because, like you said, you were in mid-season form at the time? So was the game really not moving that fast because you never really got fully removed from the game because you never had time
Right.
off to be able to breathe?
Yeah. So yeah, once I left summer ball, once I left Newport, I would say about a week I was removed from baseball for the whole of 2021. Um, so it really, the game didn't really speed up on me that much. Like I said, it was a lot of young players, a lot of people from the Dominican and from Mexico and from Latin countries that, um, 18, 19 years old, still just getting their feet wet in professional baseball and trying to establish a name for themselves. So, um, with kind of the talent that was in college baseball during my 3 years and some of the people I got to face, like in Texas or in Florida when we traveled my freshman year, or in the Carolinas, it was, kind of prepared me to play against guys like that have a lot of raw talent, but just there aren't really developed yet.
So going into the off season, was there anything in particular, if you're allowed to share, as far as what the Mets asked you to work on, or what maybe you yourself, if you can share that, what you wanted to work on to prepare yourself for this upcoming season?
Yeah, kind of just the way that baseball is going now. Everybody loves strikeouts. Everybody loves home runs. That's how the game's going. Pitchers trying to strike out more guys. Hitters trying to hit more home runs.
Mhm.
So kind of that power aspect of me as a hitter and trying to put the ball in play more often, as hard as I can, more consistently. So it's kind of a mouthful right there. So trying to be more consistent at putting the ball in play at 95 miles per hour or more. That's kind of the number that, we shoot for and that I'm trying to obtain every single time I put the ball in play. Because balls that are over 95 miles an hour, that's what's going to give you the best chance of reaching base. So that was kind of what, went into my off season. So in
Mhm.
order to obtain that, it's really just getting stronger, um, gaining some weight, gaining some good weight, putting some muscle on, working on technique, working on mechanics to be able to put the ball in play as consistent as possible.
So it sounds like get yoked, see ball, hit it as far as possible, and also make sure that you keep the bat level so you don't, you're not getting, you want to keep the average up too. That's always a good thing.
Right. Yeah. So we're trying to get on base as much as possible, but
Mhm.
not just get on first base. They want us on second base in one swing. That's the goal.
Okay. I mean, doubles aren't bad. Doubles are nice. Doubles look pretty
So
good
yeah,
at a stat sheet.
yeah, absolutely. That the OBP, that's really what we're looking for. OBP plus and, OPS. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, like you said, the three true outcomes: walks, strikeouts, and home runs. I mean, that's what the game is starting to become now in a lot of ways.
Right. So yeah, it's definitely, it's a little bit of an adjustment because going from college, it's always like we're
Hmm.
trying to it's a the team aspect. We're trying to win games as a team, which it still is in pro baseball. It's still a team aspect of it, but
Hmm.
it's also more of a focus on yourself too. You're really trying to grow yourself, be the best player you can be, while also helping the team out. But it's more of a kind of a self-centered approach, which is a little different than really anything else I've experienced.
No, I know thus far in camp this season, the Mets asked you and they kind of like, hey, we're gonna, we want you to come up to the major league camp, and they kind of pulled your leg, and you're like, yeah, you know what, I guess I could. So when they asked you to join the major league camp, I know we were talking. I know you said you were. Yeah, I don't know if you talked to, but I know you said you were next to Robinson Cano, who, for if people forgot, played with the Yankees for a long time, won a World Series with them, actually came through their system. And I know you said you're a Yankee fan and whatnot. Just kind of take me into that experience because Cano, Buck Showalter, I mean, you name it, guys left and right who have a lot of tread as far as tires, but in a respective way in the game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I was able to spend some time in last couple of days in big league games. I got invited as a fill-in player because the major league guys have certain amount of time that they're allowed to play in games, and so they're prepared for the season. But so I was able to play about 5 innings in two big league games so far, and like yeah, like you said, I was able to stand next to Robinson Cano in the dugout steps, and was able to talk to Pete Alonso, talk to Francisco Lindor, and like you said, I grew up a Yankee fan, so it's pretty cool to be able to stand next to a guy that you never thought you would ever see in person the way that I saw him. So I didn't have the opportunity to talk to him, but it was definitely just standing next to him giving me butterflies, and it was something that kind of my childhood self would be proud of my current self for.
Is the polar bear as big as he is? Because he looks like
Oh,
he.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. He is a big man, and he's a big kid though. He's awesome. He's a really good guy, and everybody on the team, they're all really good guys, and they really went out of their way to make the minor league guys feel comfortable in the clubhouse and on the field, and they really wanted to talk to us and kind of give us their knowledge, let us pick their brain. So it was really nice to have that opportunity, and it was awesome for them to really give us that opportunity to talk to them.
Justin, I really do appreciate you coming on. I won't keep you any longer because I know you got a busy next couple days, et cetera, ahead of you. But again, I really appreciate you coming on, and best of luck this season. And again, I told you before, I'll say it now: sky's the limit for you. I'm rooting for you, buddy, and I'm hoping to hopefully I see it either on ESPN or on SNY or whatever, and see Justin Guerrera called up, will be making his chance with the Mets, his big league debut. I will be ecstatic, and I'm hoping to see that sometime soon, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to have me on, and thanks again for everything that you guys have been able to do for me.
No problem, buddy. Anytime. I'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm not doing to find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.